In this video, I wanted to show you quickly how to make a Google Classroom. And I wanted to quickly also go through the settings so that when you're setting up your Google Classrooms, you're not spending a ton of time trying to figure out which settings to turn on and which ones to keep off and so forth. So I'm already logged into my Launchpad. So we're going to find the blue Google Share button, which is right over here for me. Obviously yours may be in a different place. So when you use that, first of all, remember that when you open the Google Share button from your Launchpad, that signs you into everything Google related. So you're going to use the waffle towards the top right, click on Classroom. So you can see that I've got a bunch of classes. Some of these are old training, some of these are classes from last year. You can see that I've already gone in and started to set up my 2 classes that I'm going to be using this year. If you have old classes, you can definitely archive those, and I'll go over that later. But to start a class, there is a plus button up here in the top right. So you want to make sure that you create a class. Now, if you are a brand new teacher to our district, you are going to want to make sure that you select teacher when you first use Open Google Classroom. If you select student, it will not give you the same powers as a teacher account. So please make sure that you select teacher for the very first time, and then it will take you straight to this landing page. So we're going to create a class, and I'm going to call it whatever. So maybe I just want to call it Mrs. Hassling. Oh my gosh, I can't type. Science. Some kids also appreciate having the periods, so you can put the subject in. You can also put your room number. And you're going to click Create. So here's my class. I can change the theme. So you can select different themes. You can change, now if you change the color, it's only going to change the font color. It's going to keep this part the same. Your class code is over here. Remember, that's going to allow your students to quickly join if you have not connected to Focus. You can also reset the class code. Sometimes the characters that you get are a little bit funny to read together, or sometimes the word is almost inappropriate if you read it a certain way, so you can change it as many times as you need to until you're satisfied with the code and that it displays very nicely for you. So in the top right is the class settings, but they've also now added stream settings right here. Remember, the stream is where you're going to see all of your announcements and things. By default, it allows students to post and comment. I highly recommend that either you change this to either students can only comment or only teachers can post or comment. I typically start out the year with students can only comment because if I post messages, I do want the students to be able to see and respond and ask me questions. If they start to get silly, then sometimes you can turn that off. Classwork on the stream, when I post an assignment, I do not want this showing on the stream. You want to teach the students to go to the classwork page. Multiple reasons for that. So if you make announcements and then you start posting assignments, those announcements get pushed down to the bottom of the page and the students miss them. Guardian summaries are turned on. So the parents can then, if parents have an account that they've signed up for, they can see a summary of the work. It is not going to send the parents the assignments. A lot of parents ask that. I can't see their assignments. That's not for the parents, that's for the students. So guardians can see things that the students haven't turned in. We don't use Google Meet at our school, so we're going to ignore that. You don't need to show the grade because we use Focus, so you can leave all that alone. So you can click Save. Under classwork, this is where you'll create assignments. So You want to make a topic first, and then anything you add under that, you can post different things. Remember, material is when you're just posting notes or a video that you want students to see. An assignment is when you want the students to create something. Highly suggested to make sure the document is already created in your Google Drive, so that all you're doing is choosing the file that you want to add to the assignment. And I don't want the Reimagining Middle School one. But whatever I choose, we're going to pretend that we want them to have a pacing guide. If I choose students can edit, that means that they're all working on one file. If I choose make a copy for each student gets their own version to work on. Students can view is something like if I'm posting Google Slides or PowerPoint slides just for them to look at, but I don't want them to change my notes. So you have to make sure that you have these settings correct before you post the assignment. You're going to give it a name and some instructions. You can change the due date and the topic and whatnot. And you can click Assign. If you have more than one class, you can select multiple classes that you want to post this assignment to. Any student that is added to your class after you create this class will then automatically get a copy of each thing that you've selected to get a copy of. All of your students will be listed here if you've added students. And if you grade in Google Classroom, you'll see a list of grades here. If you want to make an announcement, welcome to the new school year. You can type that. You can change bold, italics, anything of that. You can add a video if you want. You can add another link. Again, you can also post to multiple classes. Okay, so keep those things in mind when you're working this year. Sometimes I like to post something like this so I have it ready to go for the students on day one. Please reach out to me if you have any questions on Google Classroom.